Greetings, everyone. This is a special show. Hello, I am Frater SH, and in this show is going to be a half and half show. At the end of the show, we're gonna review Hero's Quest for the NES. But first, we're going to talk about E3. But I'm not alone on this, and we're coming to you live from Elmer's Tainted Horse Meat Snack-a-Shack of Crackton, Ohio. And to the right of me is Gregory Peck. Hello, Mr. Peck. How you doing?
Good? I never do good in the morning without my oat bran, you motherfucker.
And to the left of me is Peter Graves. Hello, Peter Graves. How you doing?
Hey, Peter Graves. This is biography.
Well, and of course, to me at the other end of the table is Pooh Guppy Adams, who is still suspended from his job at the junkyard. Apparently, if you have been listening to the Ninja Gaiden marathon, he had mentioned that he had been suspended because he screwed up at the crane. On the crane at his junkyard job and dropped a car on his foreman. He's all right. The foreman's all right, I hear. I actually called up after the show. I was really worried about this. He's just pissed. He's really pissed. He said something about that shit-faced uncle fucker, and he just kind of trailed off, and I kind of left it at that. I realized this is a sore spot. How Pooh Guppy are you doing?
I'm doing good. The food stamps are great. I didn't know welfare was this good.
Oh, I guess good in our welfare bum. We're talking about the E3, gentlemen. As you know, technology is getting more exciting. Although at times the problem with gaming is that a lot of times we have brain farts in our business where we tease technology too much. You know, the realistic levels is usually the games that do good, the games that make the money, or the FPS games. Maybe an RPG game with an FPS type setting, sadly, I will say right now at E3, as far as I know, I didn't get to go there. Right now we're in Crackton, Ohio, Elmer's Tainted Horse Meat Snack-a-Shack. This show's very new. We may very well eventually get to go to E3 eventually, but right now we're small fry. But the game I want to hear about is Elder Scrolls V. And if you remember Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, that game is tremendous. I just absolutely love it. Maybe not the deepest game out there. I'll tell you, playing Dragon Age Origins will it almost makes you forget about Oblivion. But I wanted to hear about Elder Scrolls V. I love Fallout 3, and I'm liking this idea of New Vegas. I already pre-ordered that. But, gentlemen, your thoughts on E3, and we'll start with you, Peter Graves. This is the first time you've ever been on the show.
Well, it's good to be here. I'm Peter Graves, and this is biography. The Electronics Entertainment Expo, commonly known as E3, is an annual trade show of computer and video games industry presented by the Entertainment Software Association. It is used by many video game developers to show off their upcoming games and game-related hardware. E3 is widely considered to be the ultimate expo in video game industry, and many video game critics, including GameSpot, G4, IGN, and Game Informer magazine, routinely document the annual event, and sometimes even provide a series of E3 awards. E3 Peter. E3 was invitation only in 2007. In 2008, reducing the number. Here's Wikipedia. They called the Entertainment the Entertainment for All Expo was created to accommodate the public demand for a major annual video game. Yes, fucking Wikipedia. created to accommodate the public demand. I'm Peter Graves, and this is Biography, and we're talking about the Electronic Entertainment Expo. E3 was previously held the third week of May of each year of Los Angeles Convention Center. It's using motherfucking Wikipedia.
Peter, that information, I'm Peter Graves, and I came from the University of Minnesota. And now back to what we were saying about the history of E3. Prior to E3, most game developers went to the trade shows to play new products, including the Consumer Electronics Show, the European Computer Trade Show, the first E3 conceived by FD's Infotainment World, co-founded Interactive, let me look at your lap. Oh, it's Wikipedia. You shill.
This is Biography.
Look, man, just be quiet for a while.
Yes, listen, Wikipedia. I'm Gregory Peck. I don't use unoriginal material like that. I make the material out of my ass, you motherfucker. You made-for-TV hack.
I'm Peter Graves. We're going to talk about the death of Gregory Peck on Biography. Okay, guys, we need to get this together. Okay, now at E3, I'm going to be mostly focusing on the Xbox, because for the longest time, I've been following this whole Project Natal, and now that there's the announcement of Project Natal, first thing first was the horrible video that has become viral on the internet of Project Natal. Of course, now the new name is Kinect, which is not original, because I saw on, I forget what forum it was. It may have very been like maybe like GameSpot or something like that. Apparently on PlayStation 2, for one of its iToy games, there is a game called Kinetic, and it was for an iToy game. But most things aren't very original anymore. And so we're getting into this motion sensor era, and I will be honest with you. I'm kind of interested to look at this thing, but this is going to require a really big empty room. I mean, if you look at the footage of this stuff, it requires you to roll over and do things like that. Well, like for example, the game room I developed is not built for this. It's tight, cramped. I jokingly call it a Soviet apartment because it's not built for this. Maybe the Wii. I mean, the Wii's all right. I mean, just don't go crazy. But like Gregory, I mean, what do you think this?
Do you expect me to jump and jack like a little fucking sissy girl? I'm Gregory Peck. I don't do that stuff. I didn't even play Pong. I make awards.
Okay. Pooh Guppy, your idea.
Does it let you fuck a cheerleader?
Pooh, games don't let you do sex whatsoever. You could cut someone's stomach open and let their intestines fall on the ground and blow a head off someone.
That's what she said.
Thanks, Pooh. But no sex. No sex. You imagine sex on on Kinect. It's called PlayStation Fuck. But no, seriously. But this thing, this video was really quite an embarrassing video. But that's the thing, is when you get a multi-billion-dollar company making things like this, they just have no touch for reality. The thing I was going to mention later on is, the thing that really started to promote this thing was Pierre Molyneux's Milo and Kate. And what Milo and Kate is literally, you're a friend of a little boy. Or, well, just recently I noticed it's called Milo and Kate. Before it was just called Milo. So I guess they must have decided it was politically incorrect just to have a little boy. Now they got a little girl. I haven't seen the picture. I haven't seen any kind of footage of the girl or anything. I don't know what's going on with that. There's a guilty pleasure in me. I almost want to check this thing out. I would literally consider this thing a collector's item. Because it's such a train wreck. That would be the word.
It's a fucking train wreck. You're talking to a little boy.
Yeah, that's right, Pooguppy.
I'm Peter Graves, and on biography, we're going to be talking to Milo.
Shut up.
Can I go right to Wikipedia?
No. Maybe later. It's a controversial game, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, and this is the way I think, and I'll say this. If it keeps someone from killing themselves because they don't have anyone to talk to, I mean, maybe we need this kind of technology out there to keep someone, like, kicking for a few more years. Well, at least until maybe they get drafted or something. They can die on the battlefield or something. But, this game is, kind of interesting, but a lot of these games I'm noticing, even with the PlayStation Move and stuff, that they're ripping off the Wii, and at least with Kinect, you don't use a controller or anything, so that is very unique. That is original. PlayStation Move is just a rip off of the Wii. I mean, maybe it's like better movement. Maybe that's they're claiming that at E3 that their system is got more finesse and more movement than the Wii. Personally, I still think it's kind of like unhonorable what Sony's doing. That they're just gonna rip off the Wii. I know there's going to be a lot of people. They're going to say, "Well, fuck the Wii then. We're going to stick with the PS3 and we're going to get Move and we never touch thing." Well, fine, but you're not going to get Mario. You're not going to get Zelda. You're not going to get all these franchises that Nintendo has. And Nintendo, believe it or not, at E3, most recently on the news, they mentioned that Nintendo is the number one console right now because of with sales and stuff. And mainly I think the issue is that parents, and even people I talk to at work and stuff, they seem to trust the Wii better because it's less violent games. That is, with PlayStation 3 and Xbox, it's mostly anywhere from a teenager system to adult system. So you have a lot of violent games. But for the most part, the PlayStation 3, the only one thing with Kinect is they have announced they're going to do a Star Wars lightsaber game. Now, everyone's excited about that, but a lot of people don't know that this has already been done on the Wii. And I have the game in my vault right now. Is Star Wars: The Clone Wars lightsaber duels. Now, the one thing is, what is the game going to be? Is it going to be Clone Wars? Is it going to be, or is it going to be my dream game, which is where you can literally pick any Jedi you want or any Sith, meaning you can have Darth Maul versus an old Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Luke Skywalker, or you could have any kind of mixture of anyone who basically was in the movies. So you can really go all out. And Gregory Peck, let you talk. I haven't heard much from you. I realize you're not much of a game player. I know that when this restaurant here, Elmer's Tainted Horse Meat Snack Shack of Crackton, Ohio, the proud Crackton, Ohio. I noticed when this place closes down, a lot of times you are an NES villain that you usually try to take over the world.
Dictator close. My favorite restaurant. I'm Gregory Peck. And These self-urinating plastic ducks don't make better meat than this place. I'm a proud man, and I tell you, you and your games. You and your fucking games. And this man here reading Wikipedia and making TV movies. It's a disgusting...
Okay, moving on. We talk about the PlayStation 3's 3D titles. They're trying to move into 3D. I guess the general consensus out of E3 is that it's just giving everyone the whole 3D thing is giving people headaches because it's just hurting their eyes. They can't watch this thing for too long. The thing that was actually a hit was the 3DS because it doesn't seem to cause damage, and that's the big problem. You have to understand, to create 3D graphics, it's actually tricking your brain. It's basically a trick of the brain and stuff like that. And well, basically your brain has to basically squint itself just to do this and keep doing this. And I mean, 3D is fun. I mean, I used to think when I was a kid growing up, that 3D was pretty fun. I remember a Monster Fest on Channel 22 when it was one of the local stations, one of the Pittsburgh stations. And you can send away, and they would give you 3D glasses, so they have Monster Night, and all their stuff was in 3D, and that was really fun. And really one of the last times I can remember where TV was just local and fun, And I'm 30 years old, so I can remember at least the tail end of things when things were at least still kind of simple, like in the late 80s and stuff, and even the early 90s. Things weren't too up to, they weren't in the shit fest they were with the 2000s. And, we were talking about memories. Like E3, the first time I ever heard of E3 was out on Nintendo Power. And it was for a game that, even before it came out, I knew it was awful. I mean, you could look at the pictures, even the idea of it. It was a piece of shit game. They were actually showing off at E3 Fester's Quest. And I think they had a contest where you could go to E3 to play it. Oh, man. That's a thing that's really embarrassing, is it, all these bad games. I even looked up about Active Enterprises that they actually took Action 52 to an E3, I think E3. Imagine, I would love to time travel and see that thing at E3. They even had like a business folder and stuff like that. I forget what site it was. They looked up all this stuff on this, and it's such a loser game. I have a physical copy of Action 52, and I'll tell you, that thing doesn't... my copy's weird. My copy's really weird. Like, I couldn't... If I do a review of it, I have to do an emulator, because my legal physical copy cannot play games. What it will do is it will show the menus, it'll play all the menus, everything seems fine. I pick a game, won't load. None of the games, once you pick it, the game won't load. But here's the strangest thing. Cheetah Men. You know how it has the beginning? It has a really bad intro. Cheetah Men has a really bad intro. And I pick the game. The intro begins. You think, yeah, here we go. Real bad intro. You can't skip it. Terrible. And then it says 1 or 2 players. I say, okay, 1 player. I choose it. Game don't load. I'm like, you're kidding me. And
that's shitty.
Yeah, it is pretty shitty. I mean, but the game's so bad, it's a collector's item, but it's like, like the fuck, I'm not gonna play this thing except to review it. It's just just to say I own the worst game ever made. But back to E3, I mentioned memories, but we talk about the 3D games. Among the unveiled 3D games, which would require a 3D television, which I'm not buying, there are going to be 3D glasses, and I hear the 3D glasses cost extra. They don't even come with the TV. The TV is going to be like $2,000, and the glasses will be like $6,000. I'm not joking here. This is like the Power Glove. I mean, they're actually serious about this. We're in a depression, people, and they want us to buy this. They really think we're gonna buy this, and it's sad because they see in their minds when it comes to entertainment in video games, we're in H.G. Wells' world. One of those H.G. Wells books about a new world order. But the truth is outside that world, it's like the 70s. Someone will say, "You joking?" No, I actually will say this. Technology-wise, outside of entertainment, we're still basically stuck in the 1970s. We're buildings. You drive by buildings, and the thing is too, because of the recession, it's making that look of everything look more grainier, much more ugly. Cars are looking uglier. The attempts to make that look future isn't working. Now someone will say, "Well, there's an electric car." Well, guess what? The electric car is not affordable right now. And until someone creates a whole way of getting us all to buy it, or even a hybrid at that, we're still like basically as a society, we're still basically technologically in the 70s. It's just when it comes to gaming and it comes to the PC and comes to a lot of the entertainment stuff, we're like at least like 30 years ahead, 40 years ahead of what I just mentioned. But back to what I was saying, they're going to have 3D games for the PS3. There's going to be some kind of update, the major update that you're going to start prepping it to be able to play this stuff. And the games they've mentioned is MotorStorm Apocalypse, Gran Turismo 5, Crysis 2. I've heard 4Player Podcast was kind of mentioning Crysis 2 a bunch of times. Tron Evolution. Oh my god, Tron. Speaking of Tron, I can't wait. Well, I'm going to mention this, once I get to my bullet point here, but that on Xbox Live they actually have the discs of Tron, and that's an old arcade game I played when I was a little kid, and it was a really fun game, and it's a dueling game, and it's going to be interesting to see what this game's going to be like. Shaun White's skateboarding, Mortal Kombat. That you're talking about Mortal Kombat. I guess you're going to make a new movie, but I guess they're going to make a game for it. But I don't know. I just don't believe in that series anymore. That I like Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, but Street Fighter is so much better. Mortal Kombat back then was a shock game. It's kind of like someone saying, "Well, Marilyn Manson's better," and yes, the only reason why someone say that about Marilyn Manson is because they were so wowed by the concerts and the shock and stuff. Where Yes is like this great progressive rock band and long, beautiful songs. That would be like in the same comparison of Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 is just a brilliant game. It's just, I was playing it recently. I had bought a whole shitload of games, and this game was just amazing. I mean, I had played Street Fighter 2, and I mean even in the arcades when it was brand new, and the controls have stayed the same. I mean all the sequences are the same. They haven't changed them. So that's awesome. They have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Future Warrior, the Sly Collection. I haven't looked that one up. What the hell that is? The Sly Collection. I'm taking that Sylvester Stallone. I don't know. An NBA game. The game I'm interested in, and I'll probably pre-order it when it's ready, is Killzone 3. And that was shown for the first time to the E3 crowd at the Shrine Auditorium. It has like 3D. And the other games that were debuted included the Car Combat franchise, Twisted Metal. Now, Twisted Metal, I'll tell you something. That game was amazing. That is actually the game made me buy a PS1 back in 1996. And I remember there used to be a store called the Video Game Exchange in the old mall. I used to visit on Thursday nights after school. I was still in high school at the time. And what was really great about back then is I would go to before going on to Americade, the arcade, I would go to Video Game Exchange and you could play games for free. Now I'll tell you something, they probably went out of business because of allowing people to play games for free. Some people literally abused the system. I mean, literally would grab like 10 Super NES games and the clerk would just, be a slave to these kids. I could tell over time, though, they became pretty nasty. The clerks, you could tell in their eyes, like, "Are you gonna buy that game?" You'd be like, "No," you just leave the store. And a lot of those memories of that store, like the first Resident Evil game, Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal was so fun. I mean, I bought PlayStation because of Twisted Metal, and then Twisted Metal 2, but for a long time, there was no Twisted Metal games. They kind of stopped doing them and stuff. I don't think there was a Twisted Metal game for PlayStation 2. I can't remember, but I'm really happy about this, and that's definitely going in the right direction. There's a game called Sorcery, and it kind of utilizes that PlayStation move. It transforms the Move controller into a magical wand. That I have no comment on. We'll have to see what that is. And now this is the news that made me went ape shit. I spent like $400 immediately. I'm not kidding you. I spent it was like $300 actually. I spent $300 immediately. Was the Xbox Slim was announced. And literally not just announced, but made on Amazon right away. I guess it was available. I was like pissed. I was like, I didn't know it was available on Amazon right away. But the point is that the new Xbox Slim is smaller and it has bigger ventilation vents on the back. It's got Wi-Fi built into it. I don't need that. I got a 50-foot Ethernet cable between rooms. I don't really need Wi-Fi. And the thing is, it's got some new chips in it, I heard. And this thing, I just bought it right away because I have to tell you this. I got really pissed at Microsoft. I was one of those R-Rod guys. I got an R-Rod, and my nightmare R-Rod happened at the worst time. It happened during a blizzard. It was a snow-in. I mean, you're snowed in up here and up in Western PA. Western PA. I mean, it snowed so much. A guy I work with, he said he was basically stuck in a church parking lot. It was snowing that hard that you couldn't drive in it. And I'm at home playing Oblivion, and just I used to play that game to the point my eyes would bleed. I just play it, and I'm just noticing red streaks on my screen, and the game started freezing up, and started to do it again. And for what I know, I mean, R-Rod, and I was so pissed. I was like, I realized this was probably like destined to happen, but why now in a blizzard? I mean, because if you think about it, like someone could say, well, we'll just go out to the like games spot, buy a PlayStation 3 or whatever, and I don't know. I was so pissed, And I jumped to PlayStation 3, and my PlayStation 3's worked ever since. Now, but the one thing I did say to myself, I was kind of like kicking myself for a long time because I wanted to get back into Xbox, regardless of the risk, because of Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, I've been watching people on Justin TV play Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. And as you know, Peter Graves, this game is probably the best multiplayer ever made. I'm having a great time with Battlefield, Bad Company 2. I'm really having a good time playing that online, but
It's right. On biography, we're going to talk about Left 4 Dead. We're going to talk about zombies. On Tuesday on biography, we talk about The Living Dead with George Romero. And then
jeez. Maybe next year when I do this, I think I need to pick better company to have with me at Elmer's Tainted Horse Meat Snacker Shack of Crackton, Ohio.
Who got me Adams?
You just sit there. But I've ordered my PlayStation, my new Xbox Slim. I got Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, Fable 2. Now, in Two Worlds. I bought Two Worlds because I love that game. It gives me such a laugh. It makes me warm inside because it's just so funny. It's just a funny game. It's like I wish I had a capture card on this computer so I could do a review of it because it just makes me laugh. I love the beginning of that game. The graphics in the beginning, like in the intro, is so bad. It's so terrible. It's just a guy riding on his horse. His sister or girlfriend or whatever, she just falls off for no reason. He's like, "Are you all right?" And the acting is so bad. I remember there was so much hype for that game. Some of the self-promotion they did for themselves really killed their own game because when people got it, oh my god, they killed themselves. The people who made Two Worlds, and first thing I'm playing it, you start the game in this temple or dungeon, and the graphics are horrible. I thought it was like Tomb Raider 1. The insides of this place look bad. The outsides didn't look as bad. The wilderness and the mountains and the water and stuff, oh no, the graphics are they're not bad at all when it comes to stuff like that. But I'm sorry, but then I go up to this yokel, this farmer to talk to, and I talked to him, and he's got the art was really screwed up for the character models in this game. They're actually pretty funny. Most of the characters in the game, their eyes are cross-eyed. They're almost cross-eyed. Like my character, he's starting the game with this hood, and the hood don't look right, and then I put a helmet on my guy, and it looks like a crash helmet. We talk about Crash Helmet Pete.
Crash Helmet Pete. Did you know I was in Two Worlds? Oh yeah, I met my sister, and she said he fell off a horse. She fell off a horse and got kidnapped.
Yeah, so she's like, thanks, Crash Helmet Pete. Crash Helmet Pete is a fan of tainted horse meat. And where do you get tainted horse meat? At Elmer's Tainted Horse Meat Snacker Shack of Crackton, Ohio. But like I was saying, and this game, I swear to God, just please, it's so cheap right now. It's like $20 on Xbox 360. And if you don't own it, I'm sure most people have already sold it. It's please go out and buy it again. It's just, if you're upset, you're pissed at work, you're pissed off from school, go home, put it on. It's so funny. the acting is so bad. It's just so cheap, and then you get the characters. If you actually watch your main character, you watch him as he's either talking, or if you just let him stand there, it's like he's having kind of like a very mild epileptic seizure. And his eyes are crossed. And if you put the right costume on him, you're on the floor laughing. And then let's say you're talking. Let's say you're talking to somebody. Here's a good glitch to do in Two Worlds. If you're talking to somebody, let's say you got a band of bandits. They're about ready to rob you, but they initiate a conversation first. Make sure to have like some bears or lizard men or something chasing you before you meet them, because you'll notice as you two are talking, don't get out of the conversation. Just let them sit there, stare at each other. You'll notice that there's a big battle going on in the background of these two guys. There's bears fighting guys. They're like screaming, but these two assholes are just staring at each other, frozen in like limbo. And I'm sorry, I loved that game. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Pooh Guppy. And I mean, Gregory Peck, I heard you made that game. Is that true?
That's right. My game is better than Oblivion. I'm Gregory Peck. And you gotta understand is, my game is still better.
Yeah, but your game's funny. Your game's funny.
At least you're a fan of it. I put a lot of good work in it.
You mean you coded the whole goddamn thing, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Did you know there's a Two Worlds 2 coming out? That's right. I, Gregory Peck, are gonna bring out Two Worlds 2. When's it coming out? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Okay. Oh, that's good. Great. Guys, Two Worlds 2 is coming out to... Oh, wait, let me check my email here. I just got an update from Amazon, Gregory. Your game's been moved back to, like, 2013.
We had some debugging to do.
That's a funny joke. Two Worlds 2 has been basically... Nobody knows when it's going to come out. It came out like months ago on the PC in Germany. And you could import it. God knows why you would want to try to go for all that German language if you don't know how to read German. But basically... I guess I hear all kinds of good things about it, that it's so much better than the first one. It'll probably be pretty good. Maybe. But the thing is, the first game was so funny. I'm gonna be like, if it looks as good as like Oblivion, I'm gonna be like, well, this is cool, but it's not making me laugh. I miss all the cross-eyed people. But, back to what I was saying, I want to kind of get this wrapped up here, so I can do the Hero Quest review. That Peter Molyneux, we talked about his Milo and Kate.
Oh, you mean the game with the youngings?
Yeah, the youngings, Pooh Guppy. Pooh Guppy, please don't play that game. Please don't play Milo and Kate. I don't want to know what you're going to say to Kate.
I'm going to be saying nice ass.
Oh God. Pooh Guppy, you have no standards. Just don't bring the game over. Just tell me when you're going to be playing the game. I don't want to see what those kids are going to react to when your pants are around your ankles. Hopefully you get reinstated to your junkyard job. But like I was saying, there is going to be a Fable 3 come out this fall, or at least by Christmas time. I haven't heard much. Problem with Peter Molyneux games, and I remember waiting for Fable 2. is don't get too much into the hype. Peter Molyneux is excellent at presenting something that hasn't come out yet. He's excellent at presenting any game that hasn't come out yet. He can make it sound like the greatest goddamn thing ever thought of. You would think he made video games. That he just said that I just woke up one day and I just decided to have this thing that is on my TV screen and I can control it and have things happen that are fun. And I made it. I farted it out. So basically, I mean, with Fable 3, guys, I don't know what's going to be in it. And I didn't really look up much facts or anything. I just know that with Peter Molyneux, he's going to say everything. And with Fable 2, there's a lot of stuff, but, even a lot of people still say, about 90% of what he said didn't make it in. One of the things I was upset about with Fable 2 was he used to say, well, you can go into a bar or a pub and sit down and talk to people and have a good, fun time, No, he was wrong. He never... I mean, you can go into the pubs and you can gamble, I guess. It's been a long time since I played, but I mean, the only thing you can really do with people who aren't like quest characters is you can either dance, yell, or do things to either get their attention and whatever up and down. Where they hate you or like you and laugh at you or hate you and whatever. And that's not really real world interacting. I actually think Dragon Age Origins has done exactly all that. I'm being serious. Dragon Age Origins is pretty much the RPG, I would say. And start wrapping this up. There will be a new Zelda for the Wii, Skyward Sword. The only bad news I heard, and I heard this while listening to Travis on 4Player Podcast, that basically, it was that or on their website, that basically that they're planning to dumb down Zelda, make it more kid-friendly, which is terrible. I mean, the graphics that they've seen at E3 is very very beautiful graphics, probably on level with Mario Galaxy 2. And another game that I am going to pre-order right away is the new GoldenEye. The new GoldenEye, I was watching a movie of it, and it takes you, it really does take you back to the old GoldenEye. I grew up with it. Now, there's two different types of gamers. There's gamers who had PCs back in the 90s, and there's people who just had consoles like me. I mean, there are people who hate GoldenEye. Believe it or not, there are people who hate GoldenEye because, and it probably was considered a kind of a stupid game compared to the PC shooters available. The PC, had everything back in the 90s. I used to say that the PC was the choice of gaming in the 90s. It was. It's just console games were still kind of in between things. They were in between doing side-scrollers and other things, but they were just starting to try to do something different. They hadn't had... I actually think Grand Theft Auto 3 changed all that. Then Tomb Raider. Those two games was when basically the whole gaming world started to move in a whole different direction. But like I was saying before, the new GoldenEye, the guy who played James Bond in the last movie, he's basically... What's his name? Like Daniel Craig? I don't know if that's the appropriate name or not. He is going to do the voice of Bond in this game. And the thing I've noticed watching the game is the graphics they try to make it look like they try to make it a little bit similar to the original GoldenEye. Maybe just cleaner, less blocky, pixelated, whatever. But it has that reminder of GoldenEye, and I want that game. I definitely. Another game I got my eye on too is Epic Mickey, and I hear that one thing they got rid of is if you do evil, that your character won't turn into a rat. You'll turn into you'll just turn like gray or something like that. I don't know, but the game sounds cool. I mean, Other new games is Infamous 2, Gears of War 3. I can't comment much on that. Because I've been mostly playing just PlayStation 3 for the years. I haven't played Gears of War. My system died just before deciding on playing Gears of War 2, I believe. They're going to bring back Donkey Kong Country, a new Kirby. And then there's the Nintendo 3DS. The Nintendo 3DS is it looks cool. I mean, but I already have a DSi, so I have no interest in it. Well, that's it, and then I'm going to be doing now a Heroes Quest review. Hang on tight. Okay, here we go. Now, this is going to be a really quick review because this game sucks. It's just a prototype. It's licensed by Nintendo, but it was never released. It's literally just like the board game Heroes Quest. I love that. So you got a Barbarian, you got Hobbit, Dwarf, Simon Belmont. I pick Iron Man. I'll pick Iron Man. Ass name Wizard. This game is a literal version of Hero Quest. Hero Quest was I loved Hero Quest. This game sucks. You're gonna see.
The fire burns warmly, my cast light into the mental study, the flickering shadows and a hint at the vast number of doors and scrolls over many shelves, laying the mental work servant to the fire! Well, my friends, your training is complete. You are not yet heroes. You have yet to prove yourselves, but first let me tell you, Boca! Many centuries ago, Morcar, my apprentice, he worked hard, learned quickly, but in patience devoured him, and he wanted to learn more powerful magic. I told him of the dangers and that he should be patient before he would become a great wizard. But Morcar would not wait. He went to my study and stole my pawn. All my valuable she-male pawn. The secrets were held within them! Oh, great day! Once he had learned these secrets, Morcar fled. I caught up with the found him greatly changed. He pledges allegiance to great powers of chaos! Fall! So magical, he has a shortcut to typo in the video game. Paul paid the kid into the terrible price he would have to pay. Oh, more tax. I tried to raise him in the mail. I left my face, he kicked in, and then he put my panties down. I was on prayer to count it. Many kids batted. Okay, that's way too many text right there. Yeah, there. That's a lot. Nice number of quests right there. Oh, more text. You have learned where the friends have come the time of your first trial. You are then travel east and enter the catacombs of Verlag. And follow one of the catacombs are guard the tombs of the far right. The trial is not easy, and so you will not do.
What? Fuck it. Okay, this is now where I'm getting to with this being literally like the board game, where literally it will say you have 7 steps, and this game, this review is about ready to end, because I'm going to show you how bad this is. This is almost unplayable. So, I'm to the door, so I need to pick the keys at the bottom. This was like my first playthrough. I do this. I use the keys. Search. It's one of those games where you just it has to be ass about everything. So I use the keys. I use the keys. I open the damn door. This is where I get stuck. Guys, this has been a great review. You know, I talked about E3 and most of the majority. This is probably about the longest episode. About once a year, or maybe when Penny Arcade comes around, I'll do something big again like that. But this game is awful. But understand, it's just a prototype. Don't understand. It never came out. You know. But I felt that, you know, this game, there's something to this. First off, it was just too much text. I'm sorry to say, you know. That's the thing with being a prototype. You can see how bad it is. It's glitching like crazy. So, my character basically looked like Iron Man. Although, if you look at the picture, it looks like they have a picture of the Barbarian. You know, and or the Warrior, you know, and oh man, this sucks. I by the way, I didn't even bother to script this. I just said fuck it, you know. Just improvise this. Brown screen. You can tell that this prototype ROM is just terrible. Alright, that's it. See you next time, guys.